almost zero. If you don't have these primary tools of influence, the chances for you to close are almost zero. Fair enough? Now, if you knew that you had zero chances to close because you were not influential enough, what's going to happen? You and I both know the answer. Nothing is going to happen. Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're actually going to talk about what these are. Now, there are a couple of primary tools of influence. The first one is to build a rapport. The first one is to build a rapport. Build a rapport. I'm going to put this down over here. Build a rapport. That's the first one. Build what? Build a rapport. Why? Because you just don't start talking to people instantly. That's the first thing you want to start with, by starting to build a rapport. Now, that's called making the connection. How do you do that? Talk to them about something of mutual interest. Give them something of tremendous value, or add value to whatever you say, value to what can help them. Common questions, tell them a story, something that is going to do what? Break the ice. It's very important. That's a good place to start from. I'm not going to spend a lot of time teaching you that, because my real deal today is to teach you the art of closing. I wish I could give you a script which works for everyone, but that's not true. So unfortunately, it doesn't work. So I'm going to give you the art for closing, the art of closing, okay? So the first thing in primary tools of influence is you build a rapport. The second thing in the primary tools of influence is, and this is very important, is to ask intelligent questions. Ask intelligent questions. That's absolutely phenomenal in your primary tools of influence. These questions that you ask will allow you to understand if you are able to close these people later on during the follow-up or the sign-up process before that. Allowing to ask intelligent questions gives you an idea what is going on in your prospect's mind, what their belief levels are. Do they think internet is a scam, or do they believe that internet is something of tremendous value? What if you could eliminate a few of those initial doubts even before you reach a stage of follow-up? Would be great, right? So that's the second thing you want to do. The third thing is, and this is extremely important, is to build congruency. Build congruency. Now, why is that important? And that's very important. What is building congruency? What you say verbally matches what you say non-verbally. You feel absolutely in a state of perfect harmony. Your words match your confidence, match your belief, match every single thing that you're telling them. Because if you don't build congruency, if you're doubtful, if you're hesitant and you're lost for words, what's going to happen is your prospect may not give you a second chance. Your prospect may not show up when you invite them. So that's very important. Build what? Build congruency. That's very important. So look in the mirror, look at yourself before you pick up the phone and see yourself talking to your prospect already. Don't do it randomly, because you know what? If you're not in alignment with yourself, you might blow it off. Have you ever had people whom we call who said they will come but they never showed up? One of the reasons is lack of congruency, lack of not being aligned together. So build congruency. The next one is what we call anchoring. What is it? Anchoring. Guys, remember, we're talking about invitation here. Nothing more, just invitation. And these are the primary tools that will help you influence your prospects. If you don't do them right, it will help you not influence them. Anchoring can be positive or negative. Anchoring is what? A connection. You can connect with them positively, you can connect with them negatively. Depends on who? Your prospect? No, it depends on you. They might start with something ridiculous, and it's how you handle that initially in the invitation would matter. So again, connection can be a positive connection or a negative connection. You might win an argument, remember that. But in the process of winning an argument, you might lose the battle, which is not good for you, anyways. So remember, we always do positive anchoring. That's very important. And never point your fingers at a prospect. What a stupid prospect that was. No, never do that. That's a disaster. Any successful business person never does that to the prospect, even if they were difficult, even if they were impossible. You never do that. You find a way to go around that. Okay, that's what we call anchoring. The next one is what we call pattern interrupts. Pattern interrupts. They might be brought up in a certain way where the belief level is in a certain design. And what we do is that we interrupt that pattern. Many ways of doing that. Someone doesn't believe in the power of the online industry because they might have seen someone who lost money. Maybe they are the ones who lost money. So what you do is you do a pattern interrupt. Because if they carry on with this pattern, listening to your presentation, you don't stand a chance of closing them anyways. So save yourself the time. Break that pattern. They might come with certain belief levels where they might believe that working hard will make you rich and live happily ever after. That's what I believed in for 20 years. Break that pattern and give examples of people who actually worked smarter, not just hard, and really make much more than just the ones who work hard. So many ways of breaking these patterns. Here's the bottom line. Become creative. Become what? Creative. How do you become creative? When you open your ears and you listen to your prospects, you become creative. You listen to what they need, not what you need. Okay? So that's what we call a pattern interrupt. Now, the next thing is when you're fixing an appointment, what do? We call that double timing. How does that work? Let me put this down. Double timing. So this is what you don't do. You don't call your prospect and you tell them that I'm available on Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, any time of the day, just give me a call. It doesn't work that way, right? What message are you giving? That you have nothing else better to do in the world than to meet this guy or this person? Pretty bad way of inviting someone, okay? So what you do is that you give them two options. So would a Saturday 8 o'clock or a Friday 4 p.m. work for you? Give them two options, all right? And take it from there. That's called double timing. Again, what are we discussing? The primary tools of influence. That's what we're discussing here. If you don't have these tools, you won't be able to influence your prospects. Even for the invitation, I didn't even start the closing part. All right. Now, the next one, which is absolutely important, is time management. Time management. A lot of YOBSN owners I've seen have a serious challenge with that. Become effective. You see, you have got 24 hours. Bill Gates has 24 hours. I have 24 hours. Everyone in the world has 24 hours. So don't tell me that you did that, and you didn't have time not to do that. You need to learn how to manage your time. If you know at a certain point in Philippines, especially, you've got a very bad traffic, what do? You fix an appointment during that traffic hours? No, you don't. You manage your time effectively. You see, what we do is that our challenge is we are so weak in inviting people that we blame everything else on everyone else. The traffic was bad and that didn't happen and that didn't happen, as if it happened all of a sudden. You should have known that. You should have known better than that, right? So manage your time effectively, guys. There's no point spending 2 or 3 hours in a traffic just to find out you're an hour late, your prospect is upset, and the prospect never gives you a second chance. You can't go back to your prospect and say, you know what, because that happened, I couldn't do it. Who cares? No one cares. You should have taken that into account. So manage your time effectively. You only have 24 hours in a day, and once those 24 hours are gone, that they're gone. That's why we call time as the most expensive thing in the world. Why? Because once gone, it can't come back. You can earn $1 million, lose it, and earn more. So money is not the most expensive commodity. It's time. Manage it wisely. When you start, you should know a day before you start what are you going to do the next day. If not the entire week, if not the entire month, at least a day before. You shouldn't start your day and then say, let me see what I have to do today. Too late. You're losing time. All right. So manage your time effectively. Okay. Now, the next thing, which is absolutely important, and these are really only the important ones, is what we call state management. Now, this is not your real estate, this is your emotional state. That's right. After making 10 phone calls and no one shows up, what happens? You get frustrated. I've seen YOBSN owners posting things from this group on Facebook out of frustration. My God, why would you want to do that? I mean, I could read and see that. I'm pretty sure many others could do that. You don't want to do that. Don't do things out of frustration. When you are in the wrong state, put everything on hold, especially your Facebook. Right? Why? Because Facebook is a public media platform, not a private, no one looking and seeing platform, right? So when you as a top leader in a country or as a YOBSN owner start talking garbage on Facebook, people shouldn't do that and you shouldn't do that and this should be done. You know what? People will listen to you, but before that they will judge you for it. And if they feel that you're frustrated, guess what? You are not doing a good job. Because no one likes to be a part of frustrated people's team. Manage your emotional states. If you've got 10 calls and 10 people rejected listening to you, 10 people are not interested in coming over, hold on. Get your state fixed. Go get yourself a cup of juice or water or go out to a lake. Whatever works for you, get in the right state. If you keep saying the right words, you keep doing the right activity in the wrong state, all you will get is pain. And that's what's happened to a lot of YOBSN owners. I've seen that. So get your emotional state right. If you can't control your state, could you imagine if a frustrated prospect of yours shows up or a prospect who's giving you a hard time shows up, what will you do? You will just shut them off. You'll just blow them off. You'll like, get lost. Who cares, And I've seen YOBSN owners do that. So please take care of your state. No matter what happens, don't bring your personal problems on a professional table. Don't. Because if you do that, you will lose your prospect. No. Even if that guy is your friend, even if that guy is your relative, if you're meeting them for a YOBSN meeting, make sure it is a YOBSN meeting. It can't be let's do 50% YOBSN and 30% personal and 20% roaming around. Doesn't work that way. Why? Because the state gets confused when to do YOBSN, when to do personal stuff, and when to roam around. So when you do what you have to do, you do it with that full might. If it's a YOBSN meeting, it's a YOBSN meeting, not a personal meeting. Okay? So manage your state. Any YOBSN owner who has a weak emotional state can never build a strong business. Not possible. Okay? So that's on stage management. Now here's another thing very important. Repetition is the mother of all skills. So if you look like, oh my God, this is difficult, it means you haven't done it enough. That's why it's difficult. I mean, none of us were born like this. We learned, we practiced, and we got better at it. So repetition is the mother of skills. That's the key. So if you find something difficult, what is missing? Practice, repetition, doing it again and again. If you're doing something for the first time, it's going to be difficult. That's true. That's how the world works. So if it's difficult, it means you haven't done it long enough. So keep doing it again and again. All right? So that's very important. Now, the other thing that I want to mention here is networking is the process of, someone said losing friends, and oh my God, someone gave you the wrong meaning for it. Networking is the process of making friends. Networking is the process of making friends. Always, always, always work hard to find good in people because they do have that somewhere. What you focus on is what you get. So you're going to focus on garbage, you're going to get garbage, and then don't blame others for it. So remember one thing, networking is the process of making friends. Always work hard on finding good in people. I've seen people working hard in their jobs and still having a hard time making ends meet. What do? Start criticizing them? No, I appreciate them. I appreciate them for the hard work they put in. And then give them a solution if they're looking for one, right? So that's very important. Okay, now what I want to do is that really move forward. So these are 8 points which are very important. So one is building a rapport, asking intelligent questions, congruency, anchoring, pattern interrupts, double timing, time management, state management. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay. So that's a quick one on invitation. Now, if you haven't listened to 90 Days Getting Started video, training video, please take out some time to listen to it. It's available on YouTube. Go back and ask your team leader about it, where we cover the basics on how to invite people. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to fast forward and now talk about something absolutely important, and that is to do with the closing. So I'm just going to go to the next page, and now what I want to talk about is the closing. All right, that's very important. The closing. Now, I'm going to give you a few, excuse me, I'm going to give you a few tips on the closing, okay? What are these tips? To start with, remember this: people do things, people buy things to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. Okay, I'm going to put this down. People buy things to avoid pain, that's one thing, or they buy things to gain pleasure. People would avoid buying YOBSN if they associate that experience with pain. People will buy YOBSN if they can associate that experience with pleasure. If that makes sense. Avoid pain or gain pleasure, two things. You can have the same situation where you can have two people reacting differently. Okay? So what is important is to make sure that we can make their experience as less painful and more pleasurable when we are following up. That is why I always recommend never to get into an argument, because even if you win, you would have told them that they're pretty much useless and everything they thought and believed in was crappy. That is painful, and they won't buy from you even if you win the argument. Sometimes it might have happened to you that you were like, oh my God, I said this and I said that and I did that and I did that and I convinced the guy, and yet the guy wasn't interested. One of these reasons. If you're friendly enough and you know how to go around and be playful enough, guess what? You can actually get them feel the pleasure of how life would be with YOBSN. That's powerful, okay? So that's something very important I wanted to share with you. Now, there are three other things. In fact, we're really very short on time. So what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to talk about something else very important, which is what I call test closing. So I'm just skipping the whole invitation part, all right? And I'm going to go to test closing. Now, what is a test close? What is a test close? A test close is something where the prospect doesn't have to make a decision. What is a test close? A test close is a statement, is something where the prospect doesn't have to make a decision. The prospect is not making a decision. Why? Because you're not asking them to make a decision. What is a decision making question? What is a decision making question? For example, Sam, so would you like to be a part of YOBSN? That's a decision making question, you know? And that's not what we are doing here. Now, a test close is an opinion generated question. A test close is what? It is an opinion. Remember this word. Opinion generated question. That's what a test close is. A test close is an opinion generated question. When do you start doing test close? Right from your invitation, you start doing test close. Wow, how do you do test closing from an invitation? Find out all that you need to find out about them. So if someone says, oh my God, I'm stuck in a job and I can't make both ends meet and I'm not happy about it, I'm not being recognized about it, you might ask a test question. Test question. So if I could show you how those problems of yours can be solved, or some of those problems can be solved, would you be interested in listening to me? Right? So that's a test closing. What will be the guy saying? No, I'm not. After whining about it, will the guy say, no, I'm not? The guy will be like, oh, why not? Sure. Let's discuss it over a cup of coffee. All I need is an hour, hour and a half of your time. Keep it casual, especially if you know the person. Right? So test close can start as early as invitation. Remember, you are not going to present your prospects till they are hungry. Till they are what? Till they are hungry. Till they are hungry to listen to you. If they're not hungry, don't present. I've seen people presenting and presenting and presenting. No results, no results, and no results. You know why? Because they were not hungry in the first place to listen to you. So that's the power of invitation there. Okay. Now, let me see if there's anything else I missed out before we move forward on the art of test closing. So a test close is an opinion asking question, not a decision making question. Put it down somewhere. That's it. And why? You'll see the advantage of it very soon. It's an opinion asking question, not a decision making question. Because a decision making question is much difficult. An opinion asking question is easier. Everyone loves to give their opinion, isn't it? Even if you don't ask, they will give you their opinion. So that's how it is. That's the world we live in. Okay? Now, here's the biggest challenge about closing someone. How to close is not the challenge. When to close is the challenge. When to close is the challenge, not how. The question is still the same, but you ask the same question at the wrong time, you are gonna get a no. You ask the same question at the right time, you'll get the right answer. How do we know the time is right? Through test closing, which we'll talk about that as well. Okay, so here's the other thing that we would like to learn today, and we're actually going to spend quite a bit of time learning. Okay, the first thing is what I call the test close thermometer. What is this? A test close thermometer. Now, what does this thermometer do actually? So I'm just going to take and draw a thermometer here. So bear with my drawing over there. Like, I'm going to draw a thermometer, and what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put a few things on this thermometer. The first is freezing. My writing is terrible. Well, I'm using my fingers to do that, so probably I won't use my fingers. Okay, so the first is freezing. The next is probably something which is cold, right? Let's draw the next line. The next probably could be warm. Yeah, let's draw the next line. The next one could be hot. And the last one is ready to buy from you. Okay, so I have the freezing. What is this? A test close thermometer, not a decision making thermometer. Test close. Freezing, cold, warm, hot, ready to buy. Would it be nice if your prospect says, all right, Amy, here's my $400. How do I sign up? Where do I sign up? Wow. Here's Jelly. Here's my $400. Where do I sign up? Wow. And can you do that? Yes, everyone listening to me in this room can do that. How do we do that? Using the test close thermometer. Now, of course, if the person is freezing, a test close is an opinion asking question, and then if the answer. So, in your opinion, do you think so and so? And the answer is freezing, you know where the buyer is. If the answer is hot, you know where the buyer is. So, from that, the buyer will give you enough reasons for you to come up with what we call positive test closes. Okay, so that's why we're going with this. So by the time you're done asking enough questions, your buyer is ready to buy. What are we looking for in our test closes? We're looking for a yes, a yes, a yes, not a maybe, not let me think about it, not let me ask my friend. A yes, a yes, a yes. That's what you're looking at. Because if you consistently can get your prospect keep saying yes, yes, yes in your test closes, eventually when you ask the decision making question, he would have already convinced himself and said a yes. Make sense? Pretty powerful. If your prospect in your follow up, in your test closes, is saying yes, 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 yes to the questions you asked, the chances of he turning around and saying no to you is very rare. What we usually do is that we sell the features of YOBSN. Something very important worth mentioning. What do? We sell the features of YOBSN. Have you seen our pay per click? And have you seen how you can make $50,000 a week and da 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 and direct bonus da da? What we need to sell is not the features. We need to sell the benefits to our buyers. If you go and talk to someone that, oh my God, have you seen our team commissions? It's absolutely phenomenal. It gives you $50,000 a week. No other company in the world does that. And the prospect is like, okay. But if you change that question around and say that, could you imagine how hard you've been working 8 hours a day, 7 days a week? Could you imagine how life would be like when you actually get paid even when you're not working? Would that be a good way to live? But that's what team commission does. Same thing, but what did I do? I didn't sell the feature, I sold the benefit. How is what you say gonna benefit your customer, your prospect? Because if what you say is a feature and you're trying to just impress your prospect, hoping that he or she will buy, guess what? It usually wouldn't work. It doesn't work most of the times, guys. 90% people fail in following up. 90%. Why? Because they're busy selling the features, not the benefits. Why can't they sell the benefits? Because they don't know anything about their prospects. They never took the time to understand them. They never took the time to understand what part of YOBSN will value them, will add value to what they want, not to what you want. Make sense? So sell the benefits, not the features. That's the key here. Okay? Stop talking about your features. Find out how your feature can become a benefit for your prospect. The day you figure that out, boy, you're in for some real serious closings. Why? Because you have a different perspective than your prospect. Why? Because you have been to this training, to this presentation a few times, so you have got a different mindset, a different view of looking than what your prospect has. It's his first time or it's her first time. He or she wouldn't know in 1 hour what the benefits are. Very few exceptional cases where they actually come to find what the benefits are. So what you need to do is you need to sell them the benefits. And that's what we're going to do in our test closing. Okay? Skipping a few parts of test closing. Now, there are few components, and this is what we need to practice of test closing. Few components of test closing. Okay. Now this is where you need to pay absolutely 100% attention. A while ago when I started, I heard a lot of noises going on in the background. You cannot follow me with all those noises. So if you're not in a place where you should be, go to a place where your total focus is on listening to what I have to say. Okay. Now this is what we call as 7 parts to unit of conviction. 7 parts to a unit of conviction. It's very important. 7 parts to a unit of conviction. How many parts? 7 parts. Okay. From these 7 parts, we are going to move to discuss today some ways of test closing. Okay. Now, let's see what these 7 parts are. Part number 1, a claim. Make a claim. Okay. And I'll explain these one by one. The next would be, in fact, I think I should do it one by one. So because everything is extremely important, and I don't want to mess it up. It's extremely important. Make a claim. So the first one is you make a claim. That's extremely important. Now, what do I mean by that? Can anyone tell me what is making a claim? You can type it over here. You can organizers can unmute and talk about it. So we're discussing 7 parts to units of conviction. Okay. First one is make a claim. For example, really no one in this room can make a claim about YOBSN or anything they do with their prospects. One of the examples is, because we are really running out of time, so I can't really give you time, a lot of time to think about it, is get paid for using internet. Get paid for using internet. That's making a claim. A claim. You're claiming something. Would you like to get paid for using internet? That's a claim, okay? And you can think of many claims. So every one of you listening to me, write this down. Everyone, okay, so I've got two answers here. It makes money for sure. It makes money for sure, Amy, would not be a claim, right? Claim is something you're claiming, right? Your right of ownership, your right of owning something, the only revenue sharing, yeah. Victor said it right, because the other answers are not right, right? The only revenue sharing in the only revenue sharing business, that's a claim, right? So the others are not a claim. That's a statement. There's a difference between a statement and a claim. Get paid for being on the internet. Would you like to get paid for being on the internet? Earn passive income. The only revenue sharing business in the world. Okay, so these are what we call a claim. That's point number one. There's still 6 more points to go, guys. So understand what a claim is. A claim is different from a statement. If I go and say, I want to show you how you can earn money on the internet, that is not a claim. That's a statement. Would you like to know how to get paid for using internet? That's a claim. Would you like to see how to earn passive income? That's a claim. Depends who you're talking with. Don't just talk about money. You know why? Because that's too general. Even with a person who is sick of his job, tired of his job, if you just use the word money the way it is, it won't appeal to him most of the time, right? So make that claim. And we will practice this today, by the way. We'll practice a unit of conviction and then different sentences around it, okay? We also call this a big fat claim. A big fat claim. A claim that is gonna get their attention towards you. Would you like to send? Okay, so I don't want to spend much time there. We'll come back over there. So that's point number one. Make a claim. Point number two. Point number two is now you state a what? A fact to back up the claim. Point number two, state a fact to back up the claim. Aha. So let's see. So my claim was get paid for using internet. State a fact to back up that claim. Now here's something very important you want to know about stating a fact. Use what I call this word. Whatever this word means in your local language is because. State a fact to back up the claim. Get paid for using it. Now remember, we are doing a follow-up, guys, not invitation. Right? What are we doing? We are doing a follow-up. The idea here is at this point, the prospect has attended the presentation. Okay? Sylvia, we can't use disruptive technology because if we use that as a claim, the guy will be scratching his head. Because most people we talk to would have no idea what that is about, right? Roxanne said something interesting, that win instant prizes. That's great. But Roxanne, with that, you will realize that they will happily become your free user. Because they can win those instant prizes being a free user. That's not what we want. We want them to be a YOBSN owner. That's where we are going with this. So I won't use that as an example. It's a good example, but for the wrong reasons, right? So I won't use that as an example. So see now at least your mind is starting to think what is a claim, what can be a big fat claim. That's good because we'll come back and talk about it. Okay. So now let's just take this one thing. Get paid for using internet because anyone? Because we have PPC. Yes, so get paid for using internet. Would you like to get paid for using internet is a claim. No, Roxanne, we cannot say $50,000 a week. You might scare them away. That's what might happen. So no, we don't use that. So we are moving from claim to stating a fact. Get paid for using internet because anyone? That's a good one, Victor. Get paid for using internet because every time you or your friends use the internet, you could be getting paid. Get paid for using internet because every time you or your friends use internet, you could be earning money. Get paid for using internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube have been making billions of dollars all these years. Make sense? Make sense? Right? See where I'm going with this? In fact, the second sentence I said, I just edited Victor's sentence and made it better. Get paid for using internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube, Wikipedia have been doing it for years. It's now your chance. It's now up to you, something on those lines. Right. Victor, people buy to play game, you get paid. That's right. Get paid for using internet because companies like Candy Crush, Angry Birds, and all these have been making millions a day. So can you. Wow, that's a pretty interesting statement, right? So it has to have a because, and I'll go back and forth, okay? Because it just doesn't happen dun, 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 in straight points. So I'm going on point number 3 now, and I'll come back to point number 2 soon enough. Okay, now after you have done what? Get paid for using internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube have been doing it for years. Now what you need to talk about is a benefit. Point number 3. Once again, we are building units of conviction. This is one unit which we are building, which has 7 parts. One unit has 7 parts, and then we need to build units of it. Okay? Once you learn this enough, you'll be closing people on your fingertips. There'll be people earning 5-figure, 6-figure income within 90 days, guys. And that's a serious statement. Get paid for using internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube have been doing it for years. What is their benefit in it? A benefit means something that adds value to your customer, not to you. Get paid for using internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube have been doing it for years. Would that be nice if you could earn money on your friend's internet use? Would it be good if you could earn money on your friend's internet use? That's a benefit. Now, you don't have to say all these 7 points in one breath, but they have to follow each other. That's how the human mind works. Get paid for being on the internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube have been doing it for years. Now, the next question this customer automatically thinks is, so what's in it for me? He may not even ask you. So you immediately come with the benefit. Would it be great if you could get paid on your friend's internet use? After all, they're using Google, Facebook, Yahoo, and all those sites, which is making them very rich. Uh-huh. So I just gave one benefit. Okay, that's point number three. I'm not convincing them, telling them how good is my feature. I didn't even use the word pay per click. I'm telling them my benefit. Okay, let's go forward. We'll go back and forth. Okay, so point number four. So we have told them about our big fat claim. We had a fact to back it up. You need to back up our claim. Please don't claim something that you can't back it up. Okay, then we went through the benefit. Now, what we want to do is we want to talk about a secondary benefit. But this benefit, okay, a secondary benefit, but this benefit is more going to talk about two things. This benefit will affect them personally. This benefit should affect them emotionally. This benefit should affect the person. The secondary benefit or the second benefit should affect the person emotionally and physically. Physically, if you're sitting with a prospect, you can see that. Emotionally, great, right? If your prospect knew they could earn an extra $100, an extra $200, even in Philippines, where that amount matters to a family who is struggling, right? Mm. Would they be interested? Why not? Would they be interested? A second benefit. So get paid for using internet because companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube have been doing it for years. Would it be nice if you could get paid on your friend's internet use? Question mark. Now you're making your prospect think. Remember, we are closing here. In fact, we are doing test closing. Okay? So now the prospect is like, okay. He's like, wow, this is interesting. The prospect is thinking he may not tell you. But if you can come up with a second benefit, which might affect them personally or emotionally. Now remember, if you did a good job in invitation, you would know that this guy is doing a full-time job. He's having a hard time meet his ends meet. You would know that an extra $100 or $200 can help him. So a secondary benefit is, hey Sam, you spoke to me about how you were having a hard time at the end of the month. Could you imagine if you could have that extra $100 or that extra $200 at the end of the month? How would that impact your life? How would that affect you personally? Wow, what a statement. See what we are doing here? But we do this back to back. Where did I start from? Get paid for using internet because benefit, secondary benefit. Secondary benefit should affect them emotionally and personally. A person will not buy if they can't get pleasure, if they can't emotionally relate to it. If you cannot appeal to their emotions, they're not going to buy. I don't care how good speaker you are. I don't care what kind of income you want. It doesn't matter. They won't buy. If they buy because of your income, if they buy because you're a good presenter, they might just buy for the heck of it and not do anything about it later on. But if you want to really have a craving customer, a craving YOBSN owner who's going to build the business, you have to inject to him how is YOBSN going to impact them personally and emotionally. A secondary benefit. A second benefit. That's point number four of building what we call units of conviction. Okay, now it gets a lot more fun. Let's move forward. Point number five. And we'll come back and use some other examples as well. Give them some evidence. Give them what? Give them evidence, guys. Give them evidence. What is your evidence over here? Back office, pay per click. If an extra $100 matters to this guy, if this is your unit of conviction, you make sure you have a screenshot of pay per click. If you don't have a screenshot, make sure your internet connection is good. Now in Philippines, we do have problem with the internet at times. So keep a few screenshots, not just one, keep a few of them. Okay, Take someone's pay-per-click income, take a screenshot, keep it there. Look, evidence talks. Evidence is seeing is believing kind of a thing. Okay, so you immediately need to give them some kind of evidence that will back up what you have said. Okay, one of the purposes of setting units of conviction is to create for your customer a feature of our products long enough that they become their benefits, that they can confirm to us a reason why they want to buy from us. That's what we're doing here in 7 points. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's the idea, taking the features and turning them into benefits, taking the features and turning them into benefits. That's what we're doing over here. Point number 5, give them an evidence. And guess what, I'm going to come back again and discuss this because we're going to spend some time to do this. Okay, point number 6, let's move forward. Point number 6, what's point number 6? Permission. What? Permission to ask some questions. Permission to ask some questions. When you ask someone's permission to ask questions, you automatically build a tremendous amount of respect in their eyes. Okay, now what kind of questions will we be asking? The test closing questions, guys, which we'll do it today as well. Okay, the test closing questions, where our ultimate goal is point number 7, where our ultimate goal is, so once you've got the permission, questions to which the answer is a yes. Questions to which the answer is a yes. Okay, remember your test close thermometer, because you're not always going to get a yes. You can't possibly do the best guesswork and say, you know what, I'm going to ask that question, definitely I'm going to get a yes. Not necessary. Okay, so that's why we have to be careful over there. So point number 6, permission to ask some questions. Point number 7, questions to which, to the best of our knowledge, the answer is a yes. Okay, so that's really important. Now let's go back. This is what we call unit of conviction. Okay, this is your homework, guys. Team leaders, please make sure this happens. Team leaders, if you are stuck, let me know and we'll do this together. Okay, we won't have time to do this today because we are running out of time. I want every single person in your team to come up with 10. That's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 units of conviction. Imagine you have a bag with 10 units of conviction. You look into the bag and you're like, you take 1 unit of conviction out. Okay, that is the wrong one maybe. Look into the bag, take out the second one, take out the third one. By the time you're done with the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the prospect is like, Tahir, where do I give you the money? Wow, that is what a unit of conviction does. Okay, but this is what I'm going to ask this audience again. I gave you one example of how a unit of conviction works. I want you to give me another claim, and so I can walk you through another unit of conviction, and maybe a third one or a fourth one before we wrap up this training, because I really don't want to take a lot of your time as well, and give you a few golden points as well when we're wrapping up. Okay, remember on point number 6 and point number 7, after you've asked permission, you will be asking a test close question, not a confirmed decision-making question. Okay, because people like giving their opinions, but they hate making decisions, right? Because the moment you say, oh my God, I have to make a decision, your customers say, oh my God, I have to pay the money. But if they've said you yes, 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 yes enough times, in the process of telling you yes, they have convinced themselves. Okay, but remember the first 5 points are important. A claim. Here's a quick review. A claim, a big fat claim. A fact to back it up. A benefit for your customer. A secondary benefit, emotional and physical. Give them some evidence. Permission to ask a question, ask the test close question. Wow, that's it. Once you get into the habit of doing it, it will come naturally. But for the first few times, you have to practice it. So here's a question, a claim. Great. So Jelly has a question. Okay. Rather a claim. Would you like to be the owner of a social network? That's a claim. That's a claim. Would you like to be the owner of a social network? A small refining. That's a good claim, right? The challenge is most people would be like, what the heck is that? Right? Even after seeing the entire presentation, they'll be like, really? So here's how I'm going to change this question, Jelly. This is a good one. Would you like to be the owner of a social network like Facebook? How would that feel? Why? Because if I just say a social network, they would like, you know what? This guy wants me to buy YOBSN. See? Customers can be very unforgiving. A big fat claim. Would you like to be the owner of a social network like Facebook? How would that feel? Okay, so that's a claim. Now the question is, okay, what I'm going to do with Jelly here is, and you're more than welcome to talk if your microphone is okay, help me walk right till the seventh part. Okay, so let's say Jelly made a claim. Would you like to become the owner of a social network like Facebook? Great. Back it up. State a fact and back it up. Because, right? Because we need to build a unit of conviction. All 7 parts are necessary. Anyone else, please chip in. This is a good time to learn. Would you like to be the owner of a social network like Facebook? Because what are we doing? Backing up our claim. Now this is a very simple backup, guys. Come on, help me out here. Because the answer is very simple. Would you like to become a social net? Would you like to become the owner of a social network like Facebook? Because that's the easiest answer. Come on, because Facebook has been making billions of dollars from it. That's your backup. You're backing up with a fact. It's a fact. No one can deny that. Make sense? Would you like to become the owner of a social network like Facebook? Because Facebook has earned billions of dollars from it. That's right, because Facebook has earned billions of dollars from it. Would you like to become the owner of a social network like Facebook? Because Facebook has made millions of billions of dollars from it. Okay, so that's great. So now you've opened your prospect's mind. Whoa, that's like a lot of money, really. I could become a social network owner like that. Now, point number 3, the benefit. What's the benefit? By the way, anyone from the audience can chip in at this point while Jill is mentioning the benefit. And I like to do exactly the same thing with someone else. Okay, a benefit. What's the benefit? Great. That sounds really great. What's the benefit? What's the benefit? How will you know a prospect's benefit? When you have spent enough time in researching and understanding who they are in the invitation. In the invitation. That's why invitation is so important. Because if you have no idea what your prospect is, or who he or she is, you have no idea what benefit to talk about. And if you don't know the benefit, you will just keep telling them what your features are. So we have that and that and that, and it wouldn't work. So what's the benefit here? Right? Now the benefit can change depending on the prospect. So if you have a prospect who has a dream, okay? If you have a prospect who has a dream, true. Well, both the answers are right. Share revenue program, okay? But we need it to be more solid. You will be able to experience financial freedom. What does financial freedom mean to your prospect? You will be as rich as Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not sure if that's really a benefit, Sylvia, there, which can help you earn the money. Great. Now, you see, all of you are giving me general statements. Yes, that's better, Victor. Which you can help earn money, which you greatly wanted. Now, what you want to do is you don't want to talk general. You want to be more specific. of what we are talking about over here. Okay, what happened here? Hold on. So we got the microphone on there. Okay, sorry for that. So what we're talking about, guys, over here is the benefit, right? What we're talking and discussing, yes, that's a benefit. Paying your debts, wanting your luxury car, wanting your dream house, right? You can't do this, okay? You can't use this particular claim and fact and say, so you can help pay your, or so you can help run your kitchen. That's not good enough. Because you're making a huge claim here. Being an owner of a social network to do what? So you can actually own the dream house you told me about. So you can own the luxury car that you just showed me. So you could travel the world as you would love to do. That's the benefit, guys. That's the benefit. Now, paying a debt, Victor, is a benefit, but not here. Because paying a debt wouldn't be in millions of dollars, right? Here we're talking about big stuff. You can't say, would you like to be the owner of a social network like Facebook, so you can really, because Facebook is making a lot of money, billions of dollars, so you can actually earn $200 a month. So you can pay your bills. No, it doesn't. You just lost the prospect, right? The person is like, wow, 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 boom. So if that's the benefit that you want to talk about, the $100 or $200 pay your debts, your claim needs to change. You can't use this example. Another very important thing, like the first claim was better, right? So this one would be more on the big dreams, the benefit. The first benefit. So you can actually send your kids to the best school even if the cost is $3,000. Now, point number 4, a secondary benefit plus something that's personal and emotional. Could you imagine how would life be when you're driving your luxury Mercedes or your luxury BMW or your Ferrari? How many people in this country actually own one? Wow. Now you're appealing to their emotional side. Point number 4 is emotional, guys. Yes, Jelly, you said it right. When you talk about billions, the claim should match. Okay? Otherwise, it wouldn't match. Yeah, pay your home mortgage. How would it feel like not having a mortgage? How would it feel like not worrying about the banks calling you? Wow, that's the secondary benefit. You know why? Because when you do the first benefit, you may not get it right. But when you hit the second benefit and you need to hit the emotional part of it, why do I have people who pawned their wife's jewelry to do smart media? And there's so many out there who actually have money, $400 in their bank account, and they won't give it to you because you're not selling them the benefits. Not, at least not on an emotional level. Okay, till your prospect is not emotionally involved, he's not gonna buy. Here's another message. Here is another message. Yes, we do have people who actually pawn their wife's jewelry so they could actually build a future for themselves. Right? With me? Okay. After that, show them the evidence. So the evidence here could mean what? Now, I'm pretty sure that none of us can show the multi-billion dollars, but pull out something. A fact, if they feel like, who knows this guy's right or not about billions of dollars being earned by Facebook, pull out an article that you read. Or you should have enough evidence to back it up. I have enough. If someone tells me, Ty, are you sure about Facebook earning that much? I'm like, yeah, sure, here it is. So and so person and so news media said that about Facebook. So make sure you have that backup evidence. Point number 5. Backup evidence. Guys, but one of the things I've realized about YOBSN owners is that most of them don't have the evidence. That's what I gave you on the pen drive when I was there in Philippines. Get all your evidences right, because based on the units of conviction, you don't know which evidence will be used with whom and when. Testimonial can be an evidence as well. That's right. Testimonial, great stories, genuine stories can be an evidence as well. Absolutely right. The more real it is, the more they will buy it. See, the more real the evidence is. For example, if you had a Ferrari, all right, and you're following up with someone talking about evidence, like there, I'm driving it. What are the chances of that guy not believing you, right? So the more real the evidence is, stories are the weakest, testimonials are the weakest, but they are still evidences, and as much as physical. All YOBSN owners, listen to me. If you have made even 1 cent, 3 cents, $1, show it. Depending on your unit of conviction, depending on what you're claiming. Not in this scenario. In this scenario, you can talk about at least 6 people in our team. When I say our team, we are all a team, right? 6 people earning six-figure income. Because we have 6 people earning six-figure income. Our teaser video is there on YouTube channel. We have got Logan and Saradi over there who are already six-figure income earners. Pause the video. There you go. That guy is earning six-figure. So that's the evidence, you know. And you want to meet that guy? Well, for those of you who came to the Oscars, fantastic. Whenever we do the next one, more than welcome. You want to go to Malaysia and meet these guys? More than welcome, right? BMW and luxury cars can be used as a secondary benefit. That's right. YOBSN owners have got the BMWs. That's true. So give them the evidence, and then what? Close it? No, permission to ask some questions. Permission to ask some questions, and then ask those questions to which the answer probably would be yes, called test closes. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Questions to which the answer would be yes. So this is what we call another unit of conviction. Great job. Thank you, guys. Now let's do one more. This time it would be someone else. Anyone else? So Jelly has held over there and everyone else came in. Someone else, give me a claim. And let's take it forward, guys. We're building units of convictions. At least 10 needs to be built. Team leaders, sit down with your people. Pen, paper, put it down. Learn it. Learn it so it becomes a habit. Okay? So we've done 2 so far. Let's do one more. Let's do something which is non-traditional. Or maybe something that is traditional. How about a business owner who went bankrupt? Okay, I'm giving you a situation. You give me a claim. So you're meeting this business owner who is not making money, who lost a lot of money, who made some money and then lost all of the money. He's not doing good in his business in general. Okay, how would you want? Which unit of conviction do you want? What would your claim be? Don't tell me you didn't meet any of those people. What would you claim? Give me one claim, guys. Anyone? What would your claim be? A business owner who lost money, didn't make money, got cheated, business closed, doesn't believe in doing business anymore, probably. What can you claim? A big, fat claim. What can you claim? Think about it. Give me ideas. No answer is right. No answer is wrong. Is wrong. Okay, Victor. Let me read what I know of a businessman that can generate millions of dollars in 1 to 2 years. Please repeat that. Okay. There is risk in every business. Okay. All right. Once again, the question is a big fat claim that you can give someone who is a business owner, lost business, didn't make money, made money, and then lost the money, whatever the scenario is. This guy was invited, this guy attended the YOBSN presentation. Now you have to use a unit of conviction to get this guy by YOBSN, right? So what could be a big fat claim? What could be a big fat claim? Okay. Amy, there's a risk in every business is not a big fat claim. It's actually a very negative claim because it's you can't start a claim with there's a risk in every business. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I know that. Thank you very much. That's why I'm not doing YOBSN. See where we are going with that. So yeah, so that's on Amy. Okay, I've got lots of you writing. I wish some of you who have good internet can speak as well. Would you be interested to get the information that can give somebody another chance? Would you be willing to make money online at a very minimal cost? Aha, Sylvia, you have a good point over there. You mean he's already saw your option? Yes, this unit of conviction only comes in after the presentation has been done. We are closing here. Keep that in mind. Would you like to own a foolproof business? One time, lifetime investment can generate good returns. Okay, now, uh, among the many, and there are some good ideas here. One of those that I like was Roxanne, where she said, well, she's talking to me privately, so all of you can't see that. A one time, lifetime investment can generate good returns. Yes, Victor, to get back on your feet again. That's right, to get back on your feet again. Now, the question is, I'll take Rox in this example, okay? Rox, what you need to do is that now you need to do 7 steps with me, okay? So there's this guy who is asking this question. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, Rox, we are now on step 2. You have a claim. You know what to do next. Everyone listening, please follow carefully what we're doing here. It's of tremendous value. So, one time, lifetime investment can generate you good returns. Okay. Now, this guy was running business because in a traditional business, you can't pay $400 and get a one time lifetime. You have to pay every month, every week, something. So, what Roxanne did here is hit right at the right spot. You know what? One time and I'm done. That's it. It's one time, lifetime with fantastic returns. Okay. Now, what are we doing, Roxanne? So you made a claim. So Sam, this is a one-time investment for a lifetime return of benefits. Because now, please help me, guys. Because what? State a fact to back up your claim. So Roxanne, you need to back up what you just said. Because all it costs you is $400, and you can potentially earn up to $1 million a week, $50,000 a week, or millions of dollars in a lifetime, because we already have people doing 6-figure income in our team. When we say our team, you include me as well, right? So in our team, so what if you're not doing it in our team? So that's what you're doing here. So if I'm talking to a friend of mine, Tom, this is what happened, because it will only cost you a negligible $400. That's a good because. I like that. Because it's going to only cost you $400. But let's go back and see what your claim was. Now, please write it down. Jelly, when you said what you said, please write it down. We did with someone else who, Roxanne, write it down. Write down your claim, okay? So it's a one-time, lifetime investment that can generate good returns because, fantastic. Everyone write it down. It's a one-time, lifetime investment and which gives good returns because it's only going to cost you $400. Now, that didn't make proper sense, you know. So you made a claim. In fact, I think this is what happened. One time lifetime investment that costs you $400 can be a claim. One time lifetime investment that costs you $400 can be a claim. Roxanne, you probably want to change that. One time lifetime investment which just costs you $400 is your claim, not the good returns. The good return can be used as a benefit later on. So remove the good return, right? And it's very general as well. One time lifetime you paid $400 because it allows you to earn $50,000 a week. Yes, that's a good because. Thank you, Victor. A one time lifetime investment which costed you $400, one time lifetime investment because it can give you potentially up to $50,000 a week, because it can potentially make you millions of pesos a month, right? So that's kind of a fact. A better fact would be, okay, how about this? One-time lifetime investment of $400 because there's no other traditional business in the world where you can do that. That's a huge because. Especially a guy who has lost money, who has done traditional business, or who's still doing business and losing a lot of money, that is important because there's no other business, there's no other traditional business out there in the world that can give you a one-time investment with potential returns of millions of dollars, with the potential return of whatever that is. So your because can alter, but I'm happy with your contribution because all of you are coming up with ideas. These ideas, and now this is all new to you. So this is the first time we are even discussing this. By the time we're discussing this the 10th and the 20th time, you will be a pro. By the time you become a pro, you'll sit down close, sit down close, sit down close people. That's what you'll be doing. Make sense? So that's what we're doing here. So the because is important, right? After the because, what do we need? A benefit. How does it benefit this particular businessman who lost this money? How does it benefit this particular businessman who lost whatever he had? That's right. Do you see how you can actually use YOBSN to get back all that you lost? Rather than thinking, oh my God, I lost money there, I don't want to lose money here. See how you're changing someone's mindset? Wow. Sylvia and Jelly both wrote the same thing. That's good. Good thinking. That's a benefit, right? Because you can get back. Sorry, the because is done. Because it can do whatever it does for you. Can you see how you can get the money back you lost? Wow, that's powerful for any businessman to think that they can put in $400 and really make all that money, because you can't. You can't make that kind of money by even buying a McDonald's franchise today, which by the way will cost you 2.5 million ringgit in Malaysia today. Okay, versus 1,420 pesos, 1,420 ringgit. So that's a great because that's a great benefit. So the benefit is, could you see, not you better see, could you see how you can actually make that money back? How you can get back all the debts, pay back all the debts that you actually owe people in a traditional business that put you in trouble in the first place. In fact, you can remove the trouble part and use that. Jelly had a great point there. Put you in trouble, right? Now, I'll use that as my next point. Okay. So, could you see how you can pay your debts that you had put in the traditional business? And now I need to come up with a second benefit, which will affect me personally and emotionally, right? If I'm the prospect, now I'll talk about the troubles. So my second benefit is, I've already told that it removes all your debts that you owe in the traditional business. How would life be like if you have paid all the debts and you're no more in trouble and you're no more called by the bank? Now you can talk like this only when you have done your invitation right. Make sense? You can only talk like this when you've done your invitation right, when this guy has opened enough with you in the invitation. That's why the invitation is very important. This is an emotional reason. The trouble that you went through, the nightmares, the pain that you were going through paying those debts, which probably was not even your fault. Could you see how YOBSN could do that with you? Wow, what a statement. People will buy for emotional reasons. Okay, something very important which I didn't tell you. You want to write this down. People always buy for emotional reasons. People always buy for emotional reasons and justify logically. People buy for emotional reasons and justify logically. For example, and I'm going off topic here because this is important, and I'll come back and look at those comments. People buy for emotional reasons and justify logically. Let's say someone buys a BMW. So when someone bought a BMW, I asked this guy, so why did you buy the BMW? Because you love the metal, how amazing the metal is, or the rubber of the tire? The guy was laughing. I said, why are you laughing? No, of course not. Right? So he didn't buy because of that. He didn't buy because of the material. He bought for emotional reason. Because, hey, because when I drive it, it feels great. Hey, because when I drive it, people look at me and, I look great and I can just park it and I have that amazing feeling of it. People buy for emotional reasons, and then they justify logically what's the cost of buying a BMW, right? They think, aha, so the cost for my emotion would be $500,000 or $300,000, whatever the cost is for that BMW. So people buy for emotional reasons and justify logically. What is the emotional reason why they will buy Yobson? They will justify logically. What is the logic? The logic is $400, guys, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if you can cater to their emotion. But if you can't cater to their emotion, even $10 will be a big deal. Okay, keep that in mind. People buy for emotional reasons and justify logically. Coming back to this businessman whom we are trying to close. So the second benefit could be that you could actually sleep in peace. It's true. That's right. I would say dance with his emotion rather than attack his emotion. But yeah, make him uncomfortable. It's very important. It's very important, right? So once you've done this with this guy, okay, we're using this businessman example here, and you're all coming up with great ideas. All right, give evidence. All right, now tell me, who is here? Give some evidence. Here, a great evidence would be if you have done a business yourself. My story, guys. My story is right in front of you as a business owner. I made millions, I lost millions in my real estate. Here I am. And many more such stories. If you could use my story, if you could use any other story, use it in a way that you believe in it, which they can believe in, which you can probably show in the form of an Oscar video or something like that, in the form of some pictures on Facebook. Look, that's the guy I'm talking about. That guy speaking up on the stage, that's the guy who went through the same stuff that you're going through right now, and look how he came out. Now he teaches people how to do that. Very powerful, guys. Very important. You need to know stories. If you don't know stories, too bad. Fake stories never work. You can never justify that, right? That's why. So give evidence, guys. If anyone in this room doesn't know my story, go back to your team leader, get those stories. That's an evidence. Okay. There are a lot of people in Smart Media Group. They actually put screenshots of their back office incomes and all that. Save some of those pictures, guys, in your hard drive, in your iPads and stuff like that. Take some printouts if you don't have such printouts yourself. You know why? I've done this with Crystal, by the way. You know why? Because this is very important. It's an evidence which will help you in units of conviction in closing these people. Okay? Moving forward, permission to ask a question or questions, and then what we need is test questions where the answer should be a yes, yes, yes. The real deal is the first 5 parts and then the seventh part. The real deal is the first 5 parts where you have a challenge. Once you get that sorted out, sixth and seventh gets easy. I'll teach you something else today before we wrap this session up. The power of test questions. What kind of test questions, okay? But I need one more example. I'm going to take a common example now. Now I'm going back and I need one more claim of someone who does a job. Of someone who does a job, because you're going to, most of you will meet people who are in insurance, any job, that doesn't matter. Those who do a job. Those who do a job. Yeah, 8 to 5 job, any job, right? So make a claim, guys. Most often, prospects you approach would like to see your personal evidence. Not necessary, Roxanne. It depends how you convey them the message. If you always kept on saying I during the presentation, yes, they will ask for your personal experience, your personal evidence. But if you kept on saying we, our team, our unit, our network, my friends, and not use I, they will be happy with team evidences as well, which I'll come back to as well. So that's the mindset. If you have built a mindset that we are awesome and we're doing absolutely fantastic and we are so rich with YOBSN, if that's the atmosphere we have built, that's what they're expecting. People will expect what you want them to expect. Remember that. So that's how you question that. Someone who does a job, how would you raise a claim? Someone who does a job, right? So, but Rox brought a very important point. We'll see if we can discuss that a bit later on. How would you like to earn an extra $100 a month without qualifying, without quitting your job? So that's a claim, a big fat claim. How would you earn an extra $100 a month without quitting your job? How would you? How would you is not the right terminology. Let me read some other stuff. Our leadership trainings will improve the operational efficiency of your company. Our leadership trainings will improve the operational efficiency of your company. Amy, I'm lost a bit there on that. We're talking about a guy who does a job, and we're talking about a claim over here. So that probably doesn't fit in. Probably you're talking about the last example, right? Earn a few extra dollars doing part time. Guys, I'm asking a big fat claim which is going to get this guy's attention. Earn a few extra dollars doing part time. Really, that's going to get this guy's attention. Uh, I don't think so. It's certainly not going to get my attention. So a big fat claim. You said my job. A guy who does a job. So if a guy who does a job, no. A guy who is doing a job, who is your prospect? That's the question. Okay. Has attended the presentation. You did the invitation. He's attended the presentation. Now you're ready to close him. What's your claim? Have you ever thought of doing something different than your job? Have you ever thought of doing something different than your job? No. Give me a more solid claim. A claim that will get this guy's attention. Okay, I'm going to make this absolutely personal. A stable secondary income. That is a good personal claim. We need to put it in proper words, but that's a good one. Earn, aha. Now, this is the best claim. Earn your 1 year salary in 2 months. Now, this is what I was looking for. Earn your 1 year salary in 2 months. Now, to do that, you need to know the guy's salary. Remember that. Now, I'll go with this claim of Sylvia because so far I've found this the strongest claim. Would this get someone interested? Wow. Well, that got me interested. Wow, really? Okay, Sylvia, now we're talking to you, and anyone can chip in as well. So, a claim. So, let's say we're talking to Adam. Adam, what if you can earn your 1 year salary in the next 60 days? I'm adding more power to the words. What if you could earn your 1 year salary in the next 60 days? I'm not even using 2 months as an example. Boy, I'm interested. Shit. You're telling me that I've got an 8 to 5 job, and you're telling me that what I do is 365 days. I could do that in 60 days. I'm in, right? So Sylvia has just got my attention, and I'm this guy who is doing a job. Now, Sylvia, the next thing. State a fact to back up the claim. Because earn your 1 year salary in 60 days. Now, make sure you do the math, okay? If it's not 60 days, make it 90 days. Make sure you do the math. One of the things we teach in our 90 days getting started is how to earn $3,000, right? $3,000 in the next 90 days. So in that's 147,000 pesos divided by 12. That's 12,200. Perfect. So you could use my 90 days example by saying that I can show you. Would you be interested? Don't say I can show you. That's wrong. Would you be interested if I can show you how you can actually earn what you earn in a year in the next 90 days? Earn your 1 year salary in the next 90 days. Because our business partner, Mr. Tahir, has been running this program for the last 2 years, and we have successfully managed to get a lot of people do this. There's this girl who earned over $4,000 in her first month, Pavitra, right? Show the picture from the Oscar video, or you should know the stories of people who did it. I'm not sure if Jelly and Sylvia did it in 90 days, but if you've done it, talk about it. Anyone else listening to me who has done it, talk about it. Amy, for you, Vakas has done it. I've, of course, done it. So then you can talk about us. My business partner teaches how to do this. And by the way, we have showed how this can be done in 90 days to over 200 people. Plus, the ones whom I taught to. And then who they taught to and they taught to, then the network goes on. Wow, that's a good number. Okay, because is important. Why? Because if you make a claim that you can't back up, what will happen? Your prospect is gone. Your prospect is like another bluffing session, right? You don't want your prospect to say that. So earn your 1 year salary in the next 90 days because my business partner, our team has done this with X number of people and we can show you how. That's a good because. Okay? That's a good because your friend will believe what you said. Yes, because that's quick story of Pavitra or someone else, right? Because so and so did it, right? Well, we have got Pavitra, we have got Edwin. Remember at the Oscars, we had all these people. Jelly is a great source of giving you those stories because she sells stories very well. So, Sylvia, I'll leave that for you to discuss with Jelly and then make sure the team knows about such stories as well. So, because we're really running out of time here. Okay, so now your because is there. Now, the next thing is the benefit. So, let's repeat that again. Earn what you earn in 1 year, presuming this guy earns 12,000 pesos a month, one of what you earn, and make sure you do all these calculations, okay? Because you need to back up that claim. Uh, what you earn in 1 year, we can show you how to do that in 90 days because we have so and so people in our network who have done it before. Because a business partner has taught many of us how this is done. Okay, now what's the benefit? One benefit, guys, come on. First benefit. So, what's the deal here? This guy is doing a job. So, what will happen if he earns that money? Roxanne, what you said is be de stressed from your routine when you wake up in the morning. We didn't ask this guy to quit his job yet, right? So, I pretty much doubted that he would be de stressed, but there could be some other benefits to it. Because he might still be stuck in traffic. He might still have to answer to his boss and all that. He can't quit his job with that kind of income just in 90 days. So I'm not sure. Uh, wake up in the morning is right. De-stress in many other ways. What can that be? Because that will happen. The benefit is you can buy your dream house. Yes, if this guy spoke to you about dream house, usually when people who do jobs usually don't talk about dreams. Usually when people do jobs, they need to be met. Kids going to a school or to run a kitchen smoothly or something on those lines usually. But if this guy spoke to you in the invitation about his dreams, yes. So if this guy had a dream, you can now relate with this guy and tell him that yes, now can you see how by keeping your job and doing this at the same time you could actually achieve your dreams a lot quicker. That's how you want to do. That's a benefit. You can go on your dream vacation, buy your dream house, car, send your kids to the best school, etc. That's right. Now, Amy, what we are not going to do is talk about all of that in one line, right? What we're going to do is that based on what the guy mentioned, that one thing that was important to this guy in the invitation, we're going to use that one thing as his benefit. Okay. Now, what we're doing here is while we are doing the benefits, here's what we need to take care of. Point number 4, right? Point number 4 is that emotional. That emotional. A car is not an emotional benefit, but if a parent can see their kids going to a good school, that's an emotional benefit. If a guy can have a dream house, now this is especially with single parents or married people or people with families, because you see most people live for not for themselves, they live for the people they care the most. So what is that emotional second benefit? Remember, you have to know at least 2 benefits. At least it can be 3, 4, 5, and one of them has to, at least one of them has to hit them emotionally. That's the key here, guys. Okay, so you're doing a job. What we are committing is that in our program, although you're paying $400, but what's going to happen is that your 1 year income in 90 days. Okay, wow. So the first benefit, so the second emotional benefit, and then give them the evidence. Now here's the very important point. Victor is there. Sylvia is there, who are now people who are what? Part timers, right? If I got that right. They're, they're doing part time. They're not doing whatever they were doing with AXA full time. They're doing that part time. They're doing smart media full time. Please correct me, Victor and Sylvia, if I'm wrong about it. But that's a great story to inspire people. That's a great story to inspire people because AXA is a Fortune 500 company. I mean, someone who says that they don't want to be with a Fortune 500 company to do YOBSN, wow, that's a great story. Peter the Postman, that's right, his story. So use these stories. That's right. The janitor clerk in Malaysia did it, right? So use these stories. Logan, one of my top guys, right? His story. What was he doing? $3 didn't have $3 to cut his hair to a point where he's now, and he publicly told that on a smart chip, to a point where he drives a 5 Series, to a point where there's six-figure income and probably getting into seven-figure this year. Wow, these stories, people who are doing jobs, they got fed up of it, they made that choice, made a decision, and here they are. So many evidences in the form of stories. And if you could show something visual, a Facebook photo and all that, and you need to keep these in your folder, guys. You need to know your story very well. Why? Because you're doubtful, you're hesitant, your prospect won't buy it. He will presume automatically that you're lying or you're not convincing enough. Okay, so that's the evidence over there. And then where are we going with this? Permission to ask the question. And now let's ask questions to which the answer is yes. Okay, now this is what we call test close questions. So once again, leaders, 7 parts to unit of conviction, at least 10 units of convictions to be ready. We just covered like 3 right now. So you see how much effort it takes. But once you're done with this, boom, 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 it will be at the back of your mind and you'll be closing people. You'll sit, you'll close because people fall in one of these 5 or 10 categories. That's it. They'll fall there, get the Q&As, get the doubts removed, move forward, next, close. Okay, so what was a test close? So we're moving towards what? Now we're moving forward to test closes again after doing units of conviction. Okay, so what is the test close? A test close is an opinion asking question. Now when we say an opinion asking question, what are we talking about? How do you ask someone's opinion? How do you ask someone's opinion? 10 examples, that's right, Jerry. We did 3 of those, 7 more to go. So how do you ask a test close? Do you want a basic package or a professional package? Is that a test close? Like, I'll give you a simple example. Would you like to sign up, basic or professional? That's not a test close. That's a decision-making question. People hate that, especially when they are not ready. So what kind of a test close question can you ask? Let's use these 3 examples again and see where we were going. Businessman. Businessman example. So Mr. Businessman, in your opinion, okay, learn these words, guys. In your opinion, learn these words. In your opinion. Another test close. Tip. Would you feel? In your opinion, if we could help you cover your money back that you lost in the businesses that you mentioned to me, X amount, would this be worth the business you want to look at? I'm not asking him to make a decision, guys. I'm asking his opinion. And remember, keep your test close thermometer. Keep your test close thermometer. Remember, we discussed the test close thermometer. You need to know where this guy is. Freezing, cold, warm, hot, ready to buy. If he's freezing at this point, you did a very bad job in your units of conviction. If this guy says no, I don't think so. They usually don't say no. When you ask an opinion, they will say, you know what, I don't think so. So this is what this guy is saying. So Mr. Businessman, in your opinion, do you think this could be the vehicle that can help you get all the losses that you went through? If the guy is freezing, like, I don't think so. So that means you did a very bad test close. Okay, remember that. Your buyer will give you a lot of hints. If he's freezing, bad idea. If he's hot, great, you did a great job. If you did a bad job, use a different test close. That's why you need to have at least 10 of those. Okay? You can't use just one test close with one businessman. Because if you went wrong with it, you better have some more. Otherwise, you're lost, right? Okay, let's go forward again. Let's see what we're talking about. In your opinion, how do you feel life would be, Mr. Job person, Mr. Employee? How do you feel life would be if you could really make that extra money in the next 90 days and every 90 days? How would you feel? How would you feel your life would be? I'm not asking, are you interested in joining Smart Media? I am appealing my test close questions more towards the emotional state of a person, more towards their emotions. What kind of an answer will I get? Yes, I think that would feel good. Mr. Employee, imagine your, your children going to the top-notch schools in the world which you always dreamed of. How would that feel? Good, right? And Jelly, yes, if the prospect says, no, I don't feel good about it, you messed up. You went wrong somewhere. But this is the beauty of a test close. If you mess up a question or an indication or a feel of your prospect, you can readjust because it's a test close. It's your opinion. Okay, fine. It's, in your opinion, if that's not right, okay, we'll ask. Then you ask the next question, right? But if you ask a decision making question and the guy says no, you're done. There's no other way to go anywhere from there. So it's a dead end. That's why we need to do a test close. What we do is we keep on presuming and presuming and presuming and keep on selling our features. At the end, we dump everything on the prospect, thinking the guy will sign up, and we're like, and the guy's like, no. And you're like, oops, what happened? Because you didn't do enough test closes. That's what happened. That's what test close does. So that's why you are seeing whether this prospect is now a ready buyer or not. Is he a freezing buyer? Is he a cold or a warm or a hot or a ready buyer? Guess what? If the prospect is a ready buyer, what do? Do 5 more test closes? No. Then you do the closing, which we cover in the 90 days. How can we get you started? Congratulations, welcome on board. Presume a sale, which we'll talk about in a while. Okay, so here let's talk about test closes. In your opinion, what do you think? How would you feel? So I just gave you 2 examples. You can do like so many more test closes, come up with at least 20 or 30 of these. Amazingly intelligent questions, catered to employees, catered to people who do jobs, catered to entrepreneurs, probably catered to single parents, So come up with those based on the database of prospects that you usually get and ask these test closes. Okay. Now, once you've done that, of course, I can go much more in detail about test closes, but we again won't have time on different types of test closes and all of that stuff. So now what we're going to do is talk about closing. Okay. If your prospect gives you an objection, here's what I want you to learn. Smile about it. Objection is a nice thing. Your prospect is ready to open up to you. A lot of us see objection as a threat. Oh my God. Oh, where do I go from here? Oh, looks like he's not interested. That's your opinion. A very sad opinion though. An objection, make objection your friend. Smile when you hear an objection. That's what I do. Okay, so what is an objection? And then we'll come towards the closing. If you handle objection with a wrong mindset, you will blow off your prospect. The prospect will never give you a second chance, even if you were right. What is an objection? An objection is an opportunity to know what is going on in the minds of your customer, to know what's going on in the mind of your prospect. That's the best opportunity to learn. Objection gives you the opportunity to understand what your prospect's beliefs are, not yours. Your beliefs at this point doesn't matter. Objection gives you an opportunity to know what your prospect's beliefs are and what fears the prospect. You see, if they're not going to buy YOBSN, they fear something. What is that? Remove, eliminate, destroy that. You can destroy not the prospect. He's not strong enough. You are. An objection gives you the opportunity to understand what are the beliefs of your prospects and what is the fear, the pain that is stopping them from buying. So when they tell you their objection, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Okay? Don't be doing other things at that point. Your prospect is just opening up their objections. Listen carefully. Diagnose them correctly. And if you don't understand, ask them why, which I'll explain in a while. So hold on to that. Okay? What we usually do is we try and fight the objections. There's a guy who comes and tells you, you know what? Your option looks crap. It doesn't look like anything like Facebook. And you're like, oh my God. Then the next question you have is, so when do we have the new features coming in YOBSN? Why? Because someone objected to that. So rather than focusing on what you have, focusing on what your strength is, you're now going to fight from a point where you're weak. You will never win. Okay, so keep that in mind, that the objection is not about fighting. The objection is about understanding that the prospect has serious concerns, has fears, and we need to address those. Here's a question that you need to ask yourself honestly. If you can really, 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 really remove all his objections from the techniques I'm going to teach you, from the techniques I've taught you, would this business be of value to him or to her? That's the question. Because if it's not going to be, don't force someone to be a part of YOBSN. If 60% or more people are not on Facebook, how do you expect 100% people to be a part of YOBSN? So that's not going to happen. Okay, so what I just said, Jelly, is that if you honestly believe that this opportunity, this branding, this business does not add value to this person, so don't force yourself to close them. Don't. It's not worth it. Okay, and you might just win yourself a friend, might get a few referrals. Please do ask for referrals. I'm not covering the 90 days here today, so please watch that video separately. Okay, so if someone says an objection, what do? The objection is an opportunity to learn. So sometimes people just say objection to get you off the hook. It's like when you walk into 7-Eleven or Starmart or whatever you have in your country, someone might say, sir, may I help you? You're like, no, thank you very much. It doesn't mean you may not need help. Afterwards, you might just go to that guy and say, could you tell me where is so-and-so thing kept in this shop? You might go. So sometimes the first objection is usually not real, not necessary. It just happened. It was like a reflex kind of a thing, right? So here's the thing. Step one, ignore the objection. I'm not going to put these steps down because we don't have time. So if you want to write it down, do it that. Ignore the objection. Ignore the objection. Really? Step one is ignore the objection? Yes, because they might not mean it. How do you know? From your test closes, you know. Step two, hear it out. If the same objection comes again, hear them out. Okay, so what's the objection? Money game, this, that. I'm not going to get into justifying those today. That's basic training, guys. So go back and learn the 90 days. Okay, hear them out. Step two, hear them out. Someone says, okay, I'll use one as an example. Oh, but $400 is too expensive. Okay, so first you ignored it. They said it again. You heard them out. Now, step three, this is very important. Feed the objection back. Feed it back. Nicely and gently. Nicely and gently. How do you do that? Let's say I've got a friend, Adam. Adam tells me that this is very expensive. How do I feed it back? It's really expensive, is it? Is it really expensive? Is it? By feeding it back, what I just did is now I've put the ball in their court. They are obliged to justify to me why it is expensive. Make sense? And half of the time when prospects start justifying, they will know that they are not making any sense, because that's not the real reason. Half of the time, not always. Okay, feed it back. Ignore the objection, step one. Step two, hear them out, and when they tell you the objection, listen carefully. Okay, you'll get a lot of clues in that. Feed it back. Is it really expensive? Is it? Adam, you said it's expensive. Is it? That's it. Yes, you throw back the objection right at them, and the prospect, your friend, your relative, whoever this person is now obliged to, like, yeah, because I didn't get my salary, or because, again, listen carefully, guys, what this person is saying. He's not saying no, keep that in mind. An objection is not a no. An objection is something that is stopping them from buying. Okay? So when you feed it back, the guy's like, you know what, I don't have the money is not there, and I've got this debt, and the guy will start talking nonsense most of the time, and it's true. Hear carefully, he'll give you a lot of tips. Okay? Step 4. Question the objection. Question the objection. How do you question the objection? So when you threw it back, the guy starts talking to you. Now remember one thing, guys. You can close this person at step 1. You can close this person at step 2. You can close this person at step 3. I'm going on step 4 and then 5 and then 6 and then 7. If they are not closed, if they're closed, close them. Congratulations, welcome. Okay, you're done. But I'm going to step 4 because at step 3 it was not there. So on step 4, I'm going to ask a question the objection. Adam, I'm very sure you have a good reason for saying this is expensive. May I please know why? Be nice and polite, guys. Okay? Most of us get offended when someone throws an objection. We think that they said no to us or something. They didn't. Okay? So, Adam, I'm very sure you have a good reason to say it's expensive. May I know why? Okay? I didn't close Adam at step 3, so I took it to step 4. And now Adam starts telling me why. My salary didn't come and I got my credit card. So basically, Adam might be telling you at the end of the day, he doesn't have the cash flow. Not that he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have the cash flow. Keep that in mind. Listen carefully. Okay? One time, lifetime. So you know what tools you need to convince them using your units of conviction along with the closing. So that's step 4. Listen to them carefully. May I know a good reason? I'm pretty sure you have a good reason, Adam, for saying it's very expensive. May I please know why? Now, this is what YOBSN owners do, especially in Philippines. Oh my God, what? This guy is right. Filipinos can't afford it. Excuse me? Just go to Century Properties and then tell me Filipinos can't afford it, right? So if you're going to convince yourself as YOBSN owners that Filipinos can't afford it, I'm not going to target Filipinos here, literally anyone, whether it's Malacca or Canada or Malaysia, anywhere else. If you're going to convince yourself that the objection is true, then how will you convince your client that it's not worth it or it's worth it? You can't, because you've convinced yourself otherwise. So please, YOBSN owners, don't do that, because that's not true. It is absolutely not true. I mean, we've got people building this business in Nigeria and Kenya. These are developing countries, guys, in Africa. Someone has taken this business to Uganda and Ecuador. These are really among the top 50 or the top 100 poorest countries of the world. Okay, so that's not true. Okay, first you need to believe that that's not true. Otherwise, you'll just agree with them, and then you'll come and tell all the other YOBSN owners, oh yeah, it makes sense. It's a pretty expensive package, and then you start building a negative anchoring, negative connection. Oh, it's true, and they're like great friends. They listen to you, and they went out with no sales. Okay, so keep that in mind. Step 5. Now, this is very important, guys. So you listen to them very carefully. So, Adam, there must be a good reason why you were telling that, this is expensive. May I please know why? Okay. Now, before you answer that, step 5 is make this objection their final objection. How do you do that? So, if we were to take care of this objection, if money was not an issue, would this be something you would be looking at? A test close. I'm not asking a yes or a no opinion. So I remove the objection. I didn't convince him yet, but I removed it temporarily because I need to know, does he have any more objections? Because I want to close him at the end. So he might have another objection called scam. I don't know. Okay, but so I'm still here. So Adam, if we could figure out a way how money was not really an issue, if we could remove that from the list, would this be something you would be looking at really? What will happen? No, 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 Tahir, there's another objection I have. Or, no, no, Tahir, but I'm not sure how serious this company is. Right? Scam. So that's another objection. Again, step one, two, three, four. Step one, two, three, four. Ignore the objection. Step two, if the objection is there, listen. But why would he call it a scam? Feed it back. Is it? Is smart media really a scam? Is it? Now that guy's to convince you why. See? And if they tell you about it, step four. Adam, there must be a good reason for you calling it a scam. If you don't mind me asking, why do you think it's a scam? Okay? Most of the times they'll convince themselves. But if they don't, then you listen to them carefully. Make that the final objection. Answer the questions, guys. I'm not saying don't answer. Answer that question. Answer the scam question. I'm not going to go through that today. You know the drill, right? Company certificates. How long do the scam companies last? Statistics. Give all of that. Get them out. Okay. And on step 5, you're going to ask, make the final objection. Okay. So make this the final objection. And when you have made the final objection, what you need to do is you need to use units of conviction to address that objection. How? I'll explain that over here, how it's done. Okay. Now, closing is a 10-step process, but I'm going to make it short because on a webinar, you will not be able to register a 10-step process. So I'm going to show you how you're going to use units of conviction, how are you going to use units of conviction to answer this objection. Okay. So this guy's like, $400 is too expensive. Let's say that's the final objection. $400 is too expensive. Adam, I appreciate and respect and I agree with you. And so I have a lot of people who have told me exactly the same reason. However, watch my words carefully. I appreciate, I respect, I agree. The guy opened up to you guys. Come on, respect them for that. Okay? But you have to be in that frame of mind first. We are too busy defending ourselves. So we forget how much the prospect opened up to you. I appreciate, I respect, I agree. I appreciate, I respect, I agree. Very important statements. I appreciate, I respect, I agree. That brings up the question. I appreciate, Adam, and I understand where you're coming from. I've got a lot of people who came and told this to me. However, if is a very powerful word. However, if we could remove that concern of yours, however, if we could show you that the value that you can get from YOBSN is worth more than $400, it is worth your luxury car, is worth doing what you do in a year in 90 days, is worth. So now you're going to use all of these reasons to show how $400 is absolutely nothing in value compared to what they're gonna get. So it's like a weighing scale, you know. It's like a weighing scale. One side $400, on the other side you're putting everything else. Everything else, but don't use the word but. Okay, I'm using this in a conversation here. Never use the word but in closing, because when you use the word but, you just said I understand, I appreciate, but it means I don't understand and appreciate what you just said. Okay, so that's what a but holds. So don't say but. Use however. If we could remove that concern, would you be interested? I understand $400 is of tremendous value. I understand your current situation. I respect that you opening up to me. However, wouldn't your children's education be something of tremendous value to you when you start earning money? Wouldn't paying that debt change a lot in your life and the way you live your life today? Would that be taken care of with the option? So now you're going to put all those reasons on the other scale. See what I'm doing over here? So One, two, three, four, five. These were the benefits which we were discussing in units of conviction. So you're gonna put all those benefits and reasons, and the guy's like, hey, you know what? That kind of makes sense. I don't know any parent who will tell me, you know what? Sorry, $400 is too expensive for an amount when my children's future is at stake. No parent talks like that, right? Especially if they care about their kids. So if you're talking to a parent, appeal to that part. Appeal to that emotional part where by the time you're done saying your sentence, they're like, my God, all of that. What you're doing, guys, when an objection comes in, you are redirecting the focus. We call them frame of minds. Again, I won't have time to teach that, but you're redirecting the focus of your prospect to something more valuable to them in their life. That $400 would mean nothing. This is the objection of $400. Objection of a scam is different. Okay, so you answer that accordingly, put so much value that, well, what if this wasn't a scam, and let me show you how I can prove that. Would you not want to add that value and that value and that dream car and that again? You build it up, benefits, build it up. Okay, and then when this happens, keep doing closing all the time, all the time, all the time. Would this be of value to you? Would you want to see your kids going to a better school, and you earning your whatever you earn in a year in 90 days, and recovering your capital back, that all you lost, all the hard earned money that you lost, the people that cheated you and took the money away? Could you see how you could do that with YOBSN? See, I'm not asking for a decision, guys. Still, I'm doing a test close. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, I can see that. Oh yeah, that way. Yeah, that works for me. That should be good, right? So these are all positive answers, right? You want these answers. And once you get these answers, what do you do? Here's another tip: turn every objection into a question. Turn every objection into a question. I've taught you in the first 5 steps how to do that. That's the art. The questions you ask. Why? Because if you keep on answering an objection one after the other, it would sound like you're convincing someone. But if you turn an objection and make it a question, the customer will start convincing themselves automatically, because you're the one asking questions now. Okay? Turn an objection, make it into a question. Now, here's the last part. The last part is what we call very important. Assume the sale. After you have done everything in the world, gave the values, did the units of conviction, got yes, 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 you don't want to now ask, so are you interested in being a part of our team? No, assume the sale. It's called an assumptive clause. At this point, you've done pretty much everything. The guy has convinced himself, or the lady has convinced themselves that this business is the most important thing. And when your test close results are at the peak, remember the test close thermometer, it's ready to buy or hot in that region. Close it. Now, how do you assume a sale? Congratulate them, guys. I taught that to you in 90 days. Congratulations, Adam. Welcome to Smart Media. Adam is like, what? Really? Why? Because Adam has been saying yes, yes, yes. So you assumed he's in. Wow. Pretty awesome, right? So that's what you do. Don't go and ask a question again. Okay? You're done. You've asked all the questions, eliminated all the obstacles, and by adding units of conviction and value and benefits in one scale against that objection, remember that, you're done. Assume the sale. I just told you how to assume a sale. Congratulations. Welcome to Smart Media. I'm glad that you are going to be a part of our team. You're not asking, you're assuming. Okay? Now, again, if they're like, hey, hold on, it means they still have an objection. But by this time, you should have been done with the objections. Again, if there's an objection then that comes here, ask the objection. Now, remember one thing. Can I have your website? This is not an objection, guys. Can you give me your website? Let me go and browse for free. Why? What do you say if we browse together? There are a lot of things that you may not understand. There are a lot of things you may not understand. What if we browse together? Don't lose your prospect by just giving your website and losing them forever. Okay? Because can I browse your website is not an objection. Can I become a free user first is not an objection. Don't sell them the business like that. I'm not here to teach you how to make free users. That will happen automatically by adding units of value. Okay, by not talking about what we don't have, by talking about what we have and what makes us more powerful than anyone else on the planet. That is where you add value. But this training is not about that. Okay, so that's where you assume the sale, because here we need a sale. My teaching today to you is all about doing the sale. Okay, so that's where we stop over here. And I'd like to conclude with this, because this is it. The sale is done. Okay, assumptive closing, assuming a sale. Again, if it's not a sale, it's an objection. There's nothing in the middle. Brush it up, polish it up, and find out what the objection is. It's an objection turned into a sale. See, this is what happens at the end of a closing. Your prospect convinces you, or you convince them. Your prospect convinces you, or you convince them. Either way, someone has convinced someone else. That's it. Done deal. That's the sale. Either you lost the sale because someone else convinced you, you won the sale because either their objections were much bigger than your units of conviction, or either your units of conviction were much bigger than their objections. You choose. But every time, one party convinces the other. That's a fact. Okay? So what I'd like to do is that if you have absolutely any questions, feel free to